Good afternoon, listeners, and welcome back to Get Life Educational Empowerment on the Awesome Radio Network on WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM. Imagine walking into a school where every student feels seen, every voice matters, and conflicts aren't just managed, they're transformed into opportunities for growth. Picture classrooms where respect and trust are the foundation, where challenges spark learning instead of frustration, and where every interaction contributes to a thriving community. Today, we're diving into the approaches that make this possible. Practices that not only guide behavior, but also cultivate connection, foster accountability, and creates a sense of belonging that ripples through the entire school. This isn't about quick fixes, it's about creating a culture where everyone, students and staff alike, flourish. Welcome to another empowering broadcast with Get Life Educational Empowerment. I am your host, Sherida Suggs. Here at Get Life Educational Empowerment, we believe in educational abundance, strong schools, strong relationships, and strong futures. And when we get it together, living in full expectancy, we don't just survive the school year, we thrive through it. So, before we go any further here on Awesome Radio, I want to take a very intentional moment right here, right now, to speak directly to you and let you know how important our relationship is with you, our listeners, and our viewers. So, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for trusting me with your time. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for choosing empowerment. Thank you for choosing growth. Thank you for choosing to get it together and live in full expectancy with us. Please know that you matter here. Your presence matters. Your voice matters. And we invite you to tune in with us every single Tuesday from 3 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Together, we are stronger. We are going to dive right in to reviewing our first show. So, during our first show, we centered the conversation on the importance of mental health in education, especially for our educators, students, families, and communities. We acknowledge the honest truth that education is hard. Educators face overwhelming workloads, limited resources, behavioral challenges, constant curriculum changes, staffing shortages, and intense pressure to do it all. Educators, we have learned that although we're expected to perform as superheroes, we're actually only human. But at the same time, families also have to judge work, homework, finances, technology concerns, and thinking about their children's safety and well-being, where communities they face resource gaps, safety concerns, and economic challenges. So we didn't shy away from these realities, but we determined that when we get it together, we don't stay stuck in a problem. We get it together, we identify stressors so that they don't control us, but we are empowered and we empower one another to move forward with purpose and hope. We don't wallow in pity, but we are anchored in Philippians 4 and 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We remind ourselves that no challenge is too great when we draw on faith, resilience, and community. We close that first show by uplifting students, educators, families, and communities through positive affirmations, reinforcing growth, confidence, rest, partnership, and collective success as we move forward together in full expectancy. During our second show, we shifted over to discussing with building powerful relationship and positive relationships with the school, family, and communities. The foundation of trust and connection is what allows students in education to thrive. Students are more engaged, families feel supported, and communities are more likely to partner in education when relationships are strong. We talked about how trust is built through respect, consistency, and empathy, and how these relationships directly impact student success and mental health. So, how is this relevant to today's topic? Because today we're going to talk about effective classroom management, restorative practices, and school discipline. So, we're going to start with positive relationships and how it helps to build these three aspects together. You cannot expect students to respond to rules or guidance if they do not trust that you care about them and believe in their potential. Classroom management isn't just about control. And as a matter of fact, it's not about controlling behavior at all. We don't want to control the behavior. However, what we really want to do is to teach the behavior that we expect from our students and positively influence the classroom and school culture so that students as well as the adults in the environment are most likely to comply with each other and work together. Classroom management is about teaching, modeling, and reinforcing the expectations that we want students to learn and perform so that they can become thriving members of the community. So today, we're going to break down this show into three segments. We're going to take time to understand classroom management. We're going to talk about how restorative practices truly correlates to positive classroom management. So, we're going to also talk about school discipline and shifting from punishment to accountability. Mhm. Segment 3, we're going to talk about strategies to build trust, engagement, and lasting impacts, as well as those classroom management strategies that are going to help us to start the year off strong. So, let's take a moment to truly dive in and understand what classroom management truly is in this new year. Classroom management in 2026 is not just about maintaining order. It's about a learning environment where students feel safe and supported, as well as motivated to succeed. Classroom management starts with building a strong and positive relationship with trust. Students are likely to follow rules when they feel like they are a part of a positive school community. Remember this. They're likely to follow expectations when they feel heard, expectations understood. Teachers must teach the expected behavior explicitly so that students can understand it. We can't assume that students just know better. Just like learning to tie shoes, students need guidance, they need modeling, and they need consistent practice. Don't you remember, if you're a parent, when you taught your child how to tie their shoes? Or if you're a cousin, an aunt, or an uncle, brother, or sister, when you watched them to learn how to tie their shoe? Don't you remember learning how to tie your own shoe? You had to be taught. Okay. Someone had to model the appropriate behavior to you, and then you had to practice. I need for you to recognize that students come from diverse backgrounds. Their experience shaped their behavior. Effective classroom management, it adapts to these students. It is about meeting students where they are rather than enforcing one size fits all rules. Okay. This is also a part of educational equity. Okay. Teachers, we have to remember that our role is not just to enforce the rules, it's to equip students with the skills that they need to make good choices. A student may not always comply immediately, but with clear teaching, consistency, reinforcement, and trust, they do learn to grow and thrive. I want to share with you my own personal experience. And we're going to call this Get Life Story Time. How about it? So, we had 8th grade students that were transitioning from an outside activity into the school building. So as they were walking in, many students were loud, they were talking, they were jumping up and down, they were jumping and hitting the door frame while they were entering into the school building, turned around talking to students that were behind them as the line was moving forward. Now this can impose a problem for students because they can accidentally bump into a student that's in front of them, just like in a car accident. If you're not looking in front of you, you can bump into the car that's in front of you. You can cause a car accident. So this was all happening after the teacher gave instructions for the students to explicitly walk forward, hands by your side, enter into the building silently, because we had classes inside the building that were already in session. So I was able to witness the principal giving the teacher an opportunity to regain the students' attention and to reset and restate the expectations. But unfortunately, the majority of the students did not comply. So at our school, we implement a collaborative approach to the success of staff and students. So, when at least 80% of the group are not meeting expectations, whether the expectations are academic or behavioral, we determine that the concept needs to be revisited and or retaught. We do not operate under the assumption that students should already know better. Instead, we believe that it is our responsibility to teach the students the behaviors that we expect to see. Therefore, since the majority of the group, 80%, did not meet the expectation, all of the students were invited by the principal to attend Success Academy. So I'm going to tell you about Success Academy. Success Academy is a school implementation that was started by the school principal and myself. It's not a disciplinary consequence, but it is a structured opportunity for scholars to review expectations and or learn steps needed to be successful and safe in a thriving school environment. Success Academy is a proactive approach to learning. So during this transition, there was a particular student. This particular student was a consistent model student. He was visibly unhappy with the outcome because he was one of the students that were following the rules and the expectation. So while the principal was correcting the school expectation and verbally inviting the students to Success Academy, this particular student raised his hand to ask the principal a question. While the class was actually expected to be quiet at that time, the principal redirected the student and explained to him that it is not the time for discussion because the expectation in the hallway is to be silent. Hands are by your side, and he encouraged the students to do such and proceed to class. This particular student did proceed to class without issue. However, later on that day, the same student approached me in the hallway and asked to speak to me. I reminded that student that in the hallway, it is a place for silent transitions. And so conversations are not to be held in the hallway. So I instructed the student to go to his teacher and ask for permission to see me. The student complied, returned to class, and asked the teacher for permission to see me. Once the permission was granted, the very same student came into the hallway and approached me in the classroom and attempted to start the conversation in the hallway again. I reminded him again that our expectations in the hallway were to be silent. We have other classes in session. So I invited the student into the empty classroom that I was working in so that we could talk privately regarding whatever was concerning him, and I kept the room door open. So the student asked me a question that blew me away. When he presented this question to me, I knew that I had to be quick and strategic with answering this question. The student asked me, he said, if someone murdered people and they went to prison and the eyewitness also went to prison, would that be fair? He likened himself to the eyewitness. He said the eyewitness is only an eyewitness. The eyewitness didn't do anything. Should the eyewitness receive punishment? And I answered honestly, no, that doesn't sound fair at all. So this drove this student to highlight his point. He explained that he asked this question because that was how he felt. He felt like he was in trouble, along with the other students that did not follow the expectation, even though he was only a bystander. He was only an eyewitness rather than a participant. So that moment for me, it was a powerful reminder of how we should teach behavior just as intentionally as we teach academics. We have to teach behavior as core instruction just as intentionally as we teach academics. We have to teach behavior, problem solving, social emotional learning. While this particular student individually met the expectation, the other students did not. Part of leadership is learning the collective responsibility and learning when teaching is necessary for the success of the whole group. So, Success Academy is not about punishment, but it's about growth, clarity, learning for all students. At Get Life, remember, we don't stay stuck in the frustration. We teach, we reteach, re equip our students with the tools that they need in the classroom and beyond. This is how we get it together. So I explained to the students the process of Success Academy. It's not a consequence for being in trouble, and that he hadn't done anything wrong as an individual. However, he was a part of the group in which the majority of those students chose not to meet the expectations. So I did acknowledge and validated that student and how the situation did feel unfair. And I let him know that his feelings were understandable. Key point here, excuse me, students want to be heard and feel heard and understood. I emphasize the importance of recognizing that individual decisions do not only impact that individual, it impacts the entire team. In a school environment, just as in life, we function as a collective. And so I liken that particular situation to like being on a sports team, how every athlete is expected to give their best effort. And so when the whole team does not perform up to standard, the whole entire team may experience the consequences, such as running laps. Regardless of the individual's effort, it's a team effort. So this is a way to enforce accountability, growth, and teamwork and collaborative efforts. So I encourage the student to reflect on how A positive role model and a team leader can help his team members to meet the expectations moving forward. When leaders use their voice and an example effectively, it can improve the whole entire team. This is how we get it together, by working together and holding each other accountable. Success is built through collaboration, and success is built on thriving together. So when we return, I'm going to tell you how the conversation ended and how it affected me as a school leader. Don't you go anywhere. You are looking at Awesome Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another empowering broadcast with Get Life Educational Empowerment on Awesome Radio. Get Life is an acronym for Get It Together, Living in Full Expectancy. I am your host, Sherida Suggs, principal, educational coach, motivational speaker, and passionate advocate for all encompassing school, family, and community success. I am so excited that you have chosen to be a part of this show and spend time with us as we continue this journey of growth, collaboration, and empowerment. Here at Get Life Educational Network, we believe in educational abundance, strong schools, strong relationships, and strong futures. And we get it together and live in full expectancy. We don't just survive, we thrive. So before we left, I was telling you about a time when I had the opportunity to turn a challenging moment with a student into a teachable moment as an administrator. Restorative practice. As the eighth grade class was returning into the building and the majority of the students were not following the expectation, we were able to help to teach the students and set them up for success rather than give them a punishment. So the situation did not end there. And so this is when the real Get Life moment truly showed up. So this particular student that approached me, he needed space to air out his frustrations because he was still upset because in his mind he was in trouble. Even though he understood the team concept that I shared with him, what bothered him most was that he, as a result, would miss a class that was important to him. And I saw this not as defiance, but as an opportunity to teach something that is far more valuable than compliance. I saw it as an opportunity to teach problem solving and self advocacy. So I explained to him that while I was happy to support him and listen to him and understand the situation, the problem that he had was not with me. The problem that he had was with another individual. So this gave him an opportunity to go directly to the person that he had the problem with. Respectfully, he can express his feeling and repair a relationship that was tainted. It was not about taking sides, but it was about helping the student to navigate conflicts in a healthy, productive way. So I acknowledged him again and I told him, I hear you. And it sounds like you need to speak to the person that you are frustrated with. Therefore, I coached him in how to once again request permission from his teacher to see the principal, how to approach the principal respectfully and clearly explain the situation, and how missing the class that was important to him would make him upset. I also reminded him that while the outcome may not change, because Success Academy still is a team-based effort. However, the conversation itself still matters. He's still able to share his feelings, and the conversation can help him to understand the perspective of a principal and of a leader, as this particular student is a school leader, and he could receive guidance on school leadership, and he could possibly learn how to influence his peers moving forward. But most importantly, it created a possibility to rebuild trust between himself and the principal, because he felt comfortable talking to me, but he did not feel comfortable talking to the principal, because he connected the principal with getting into trouble, which was a situation that needed to be repaired. It needed to be rectified. So this is how we get it together. Not by silencing student voices, but by teaching them how to respectfully use their voices, responsibly use their voices, restore relationships, empower students to advocate for themselves, and turn moments of frustration into lessons that build character, leadership, and community. So, here was the most impactful part for me, the part that truly fuels me as an administrator. This student, when he walked in, he was angry, he was frustrated, he was carrying a lot of emotion, but he walked out feeling heard. He walked out feeling supported. He walked out feeling fulfilled and equipped with strategies to navigate his feelings in a productive way. Before he left, he thanked me many times for the time that I spent with him. But the part that really impacted me was when he walked into that silent hallway, he turned around and he looked at me and he said, "God bless you." Y'all, that moment took me out. As I share this with you, I want to say that discipline, restorative practice, and guiding positive relationships, they are not just separate work, they go hand in hand. True discipline isn't about control, it's about making a connection. True discipline is about discipleship. It's about teaching. It's about guidance. It's about learning. It's about connection. It's about teaching students how to regulate emotions, how to advocate for themselves respectfully, repair relationships, and grow from challenges. When we lead with empathy, clarity, and consistency, with humility, because I could have been offended. I could have accused that student of being defiant for coming to me, approaching me, asking me a question about what our student said for you to do. You're going to ask me a brainstorm question. I got to take the time to think. But no, it presented an opportunity for that student to feel comfortable talking to me. And now he's going to feel comfortable talking to his principal. We reframe that moment as a leadership opportunity, helping him to understand how his influence can help to raise the standard for everyone. That experience reminded me of how to live in full expectancy. We don't just enforce the rules, we teach, we collaborate, we grow together. Now, let's talk about the school discipline thing. Traditional approaches most of the time focus on punishment, suspension, detention, reprimand. But research shows that punishment alone does not teach students how to behave differently. Punishment can often reinforce rebellion. Key points: discipline should be restorative, not just punitive. Let's focus on repairing the relationships, teaching accountability, and preventing repeat issues. Restorative practices like restorative circles, restorative conferences, peer mediation, just like peer to adult mediation. It can help students to understand the impact of their actions, and it gives them the tools to make amends. Consistency matters. Rules should be clear, predictable, and fairly enforced. Students trust adults who are consistent and fair in this approach. Please understand that students and even educators thrive in environments where mistakes become lessons, not labels. And that's our keeping it real moments. By shifting from punishments and moving on to teaching, guiding, and restoring, we help students to restore and develop responsibility, resilience, and respect for themselves and others. Research does show, as a matter of fact, the American Psychological Association shares that restorative practices in school reduces expulsions and suspensions, and it helps to promote a positive school climate. Positive discipline practices are directly linked to higher engagement, better um, awareness, and better attendance. Students love to come to school when they know that there is a positive relationship being built between them and their teachers. So, I really want to talk more about strategies to help to build trust engagement, and a lasting impact. So I want you to hold on tight because we are coming right back. You're tuned into Get Life NK Educational Empowerment broadcast on the Awesome Radio Network, broadcasting on 107.5 FM. Don't you dare touch that dial. We're coming right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You are tuning into the Get Life Educational Empowerment Network. And in our final segment, let's focus on practical strategies that educators, parents, and communities can use to create environments where students trust, learn, and thrive. So, key strategies: explicitly teach behaviors. Don't just assume students know unspoken rules. Model consistency and fairness. Students notice when adults follow through. Incorporate restorative practices. Incorporate those moments that you, as educators, teachers, and parents, can talk to students, hear them, and respond to them appropriately. Restorative circles, conferences, and reflective exercises help to build accountability and empathy. We can engage our families, partner with parents to align the expectations and reinforce positive behaviors at home. Collaborate, collaborate with community partners, mentors, and local leaders that can reinforce values and provide support. And let's celebrate the progress. Acknowledge those small wins, reinforce growth, and build confidence. So, I want to insert another short story time. We had a parent that was a part of our school community who had concerns about his students. In the past, he did not feel that his voice was heard. He was very angry walking into the school building. And even though he was given a moment to express how he felt, he still had a sense of heaviness from his previous interactions in previous schools. However, when he was able to come into our school, he was able to talk, air out his frustrations, come together to get a solution to how to help his student to succeed. He felt much better. And now that parent is a part of our school community. That parent is in our school building. He is active. He is partnering with us, and he is helping to provide volunteer work with our students. That is a get life moment. We got it together and now we are living in full expectancy. So, we talked a lot today about how teachers, parents, and community can come together to build a foundation for lasting success and well being. A student who trusts their teacher is most likely to participate. A parent that trusts the school is more likely to partner with the school. And the community that trusts the school is more likely to support the growth of the school. So we're going to step into 2026 remembering this, that classroom management and discipline are about empowerment of the school, the family, the community, and the students all together. Every interaction, every conversation, every choice to show respect, patience, and guidance helps to shape the future of the child and the culture of the school. When we get it together, we build relationships, we teach expectations, we restore trust, and we empower each other to rise above challenges. We engage fully and we thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. So let's talk about how to insert practical, effective classroom management tips to help educators start the school year off strong. Because let's keep it real. If we do not have positive, effective classroom management, our students will have a challenge learning. So, first of all, let's normalize teaching the expectations. Never assume that they already know. Let's build relationships before enforcing consequences. Students respond better to teachers they trust. Smile at the students. Say good morning. Say good afternoon as they are leaving. But in between those times, teach those behaviors that you expect and that you want to see. Practice, practice, practice. Learn their names quickly. Greet them at the door. Create moments for connection and reconnection. Build relationships. Redirect. Be consistent. Be proactive. Be up on your feet. Don't just be reactive. We have got to stay on our toes because we know that our students come in ready. So we have to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Okay. Consistency builds safety. Follow through every time with calm and clear responses. Students need to know what to expect from you, even on the hard days. Establish routines and practices. Procedures should be automatic. They should be practiced. Show them how you want them to line up. Show them how you want them to transition. Show them how you want them to perform. Show them how you want them to get your attention. Show them how you want them to sit at their desk. Show them how you want them to perform at lunch. Show them how they should sit at lunch. Practice entering the classroom. Practice turning in work. Practice helping students to know how to ask for help. Do you want them to yell out your name? Do you want them to yell out, hey, miss, hey, mister? Or do you want them to raise your hand? Or do you want them to pass you a note? How do you want them to get your attention? They will not know what you want from them if you do not teach it to them. And every classroom is different. While one teacher may say, you can call my name, another teacher may say, I prefer that you raise your hand. Is this control? No. This is effective classroom management. This is setting your expectations clearly. And let's address behavior early and privately. Small issues grow when they are ignored. So let's go to the student and let's talk to them respectfully and quietly whenever possible to reserve their dignity and to keep the instruction going. If you yell at a student across the room, they might yell back at you from across the room because they may feel like that's the way we communicate. They may feel like that's what we're doing. But if you walk to the student and you say, see me after class, and if you have a conversation with them after class, briefly regarding the expectation, it may go over better. Use restorative practices, not just consequences when behavior misses the mark. Help the student to respect, repair the harm, and learn from the situation. Ask them questions like what happened, who was affected, what can be done differently next time. I even like to use the term in the future. In the future, let's focus on this. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on moving forward and pressing towards the mark. Forgetting those things that are behind and pressing towards the mark. Once you finish that conversation with that student, you move forward with holding high expectations with high support. Students rise to the level of expectations when they feel supported. Be firm in your standards with generosity, guidance, and encouragement. Teach self regulation and problem solving. Give students language and strategies to manage emotions, resolve conflict, and advocate for themselves. Just as the situation that I shared with you earlier. These skills are just as important as academic content. Create that classroom culture of teamwork. Help students to understand that they are a part of a learning community. Help students to understand that they are included. Individual choices impact the entire group. Last but not least, take care of yourself, educators. Your energy sets the tone. Reset, 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 and give yourself grace. You deserve that grace. Jesus Christ made it so that you deserve that grace. I am talking to you because I know and I understand. It has not been that long that I have been out of the classroom. That is the reason that I came out of the classroom, to help other educators and to empower other educators, to empower parents, to empower students and the community. Classroom management is about making a connection. It's about the structure. It's about the empowerment. When we teach expectations, we restore relationships, and we lead with purpose. We don't manage classrooms. We help our students to get it together. So, let's talk about affirmations that we can give ourselves and we can give our students. As we move forward, it is important to know that none of this work happens in isolation. Classroom management, student success, and emotional well being are part of a shared responsibility among educators, families, and the community. When schools and homes are aligned, students thrive. So let's shift our focus a bit. Let's move from strategies to spirits, from instruction to encouragement. This is our moment to pour back into the entire school family, educators, students, parents, caregivers, and community partners, because everyone plays a role in this journey. So, students, I want you to hold yourself accountable. Say to yourself, students, I take responsibility for my actions. I learn from my mistakes. Students, say to yourself, I can communicate my feelings respectfully and I can listen to others. Students, say and believe, I am a part of my school community and my choices affect the team. I can solve problems peacefully. I can help restore harmony when conflict arises. I use challenges as opportunities to grow and lead by example. Students, understand that you are an important part of an effective classroom and school culture. Educators, I need for you to understand that you have a responsibility to teach these students the behavior that you expect from them. You have a responsibility to create a safe and respectful environment for the students. You have to affirm yourselves. Say to yourself, I teach expectations clearly. I reteach when necessary, knowing that consistency builds success. I use restorative practices to repair relationships. I use restorative practices to build trust in my classroom and my school. I guide students in problem solving and self advocacy while holding them accountable. I lead with patience. I lead with empathy. I lead with purpose, empowering students to succeed. Community and parents, you are a part of the success of the school. You are a part of the success of our students, as we want our students to become thriving members of our community. You have a responsibility to support the school and teaching students responsibility, respect, and positive behavior. Go to your local schools and fill out a volunteer form. Do it today. You are needed. Ask the schools how you can help. You never know. Whatever occupation you have, you can teach the students how to do that type of work. You can contribute that to the school. Community members, I want you to affirm yourselves by repeating after me. I model problem solving. I model emotional regulation. I model effective communication in the community. Do you know that when students walk outside in the community, you are the people that they see? And what they see influences what they do. So if you're out there in the community and you're not setting a good example for our students, you could have a negative impact on the decisions that they make. They look up to you. So, yes, community members, I am holding you accountable as well, because these children, they are our future. I want you to collaborate with educators to restore and guide student growth. Help our students to take accountability for their actions. Community members, I want you to say that we create a community where every child can thrive and succeed. These affirmations remind everyone that success is a team effort. Restorative practices, accountability, and strong relationships are the foundation of a thriving school community. I want to thank you so much for your time and for the gift of our school community. I thank you so much for guiding your hearts and your minds, your actions to helping our students to be taught, to help them to feel supported, and helping to empower our students. Let us pray. Dear Lord, help us to model patience. Help us to model understanding and empathy in every interaction. Dear Lord, give us the wisdom to restore relationships. Help us. Help us to have courage to address challenges with grace and the insight to guide our students in making choices that honor themselves and others. Bless our educators, bless our students, bless our families, bless our parents, bless our communities, bless our community partners, strengthen our minds. Strengthen the bonds that unite us and help us to remember that success is built through teamwork, respect, and accountability. May we continue to lead with purpose, love, and integrity. And may our efforts plant seeds of growth, confidence, and resilience in every student that we serve. In Jesus' name we pray. Together, amen. I want you to understand that as we move forward, it is important to remember that none of this work happens in isolation. Classroom management, student success, and emotional well-being are a part of a shared responsibility among educators, families, students, parents, members of the communities. When we align ourselves together, students thrive. I thank you. I thank you so much for tuning in into this broadcast. Get life educational empowerment. Remember, positive relationships, strong classroom management, and restorative discipline are all pieces of the same puzzle. When we get these things right, students, educators, and communities thrive together. Next week, we'll continue exploring strategies that empower students and educators, focusing on motivation, edge, empowering, and closing achievement gaps in 2026. Until then, let's continue to get it together, living in full expectancy, empowering education, empowering each other. Remember, we are an educational empowering village. Together we are bridging gaps, building a community. I am Sherida Suggs, and I thank you for tuning in to Awesome Radio. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday from 3 to 4. You can catch us also on Facebook and YouTube. You are so appreciated. Remember, get it together. Live in full expectancy. Stay inspired, stay connected.